K-State Kyle checking in, asking, is it hard to enjoy the games when you have to report on them? Follow-up, how can you watch this much sports and not get a few adult sodas while you watch? Is that what they're called, adult sodas? And who's to say, K-State Kyle, that I'm not at the studio having a beverage or two? Well, clearly I'm not. Well, actually, I take it back. You may never know, because when I stutter and stumble on air, maybe you think I've had a few drinks, when in reality, I'm just bad at doing my job. Let me answer your question. Sometimes I have to remind myself what sports are all about and who the audience is watching. And that's why I think social media is such an important connection for me, to know what the vibe of the audience is, what you guys are all thinking. That's one of the reasons why I want to stay connected. I want to feel your pulse, because for me, I can get too isolated in the business or being around the players too much or being around the teams too much. I definitely need to know who's on the other side of that lens. And honestly, even being here on YouTube, it's really great to see the comments and reactions and what people like and what they're not so hot about. So yes, at sometimes it can become work for me. And I think the everyday grind of it can become a bit of a challenge. If you did anything you loved every single day, or 5, 6, or sometimes 7 days a week, it wouldn't have the same magical feel to it anymore. So I definitely try and pace myself. And yeah, you know what? When I can be home on an off day or off night, it's rare in hockey season. It almost never happens that I miss a game. Baseball here and there, because of 162, I do miss some. But I always try and enjoy 1 or 2 with a glass of wine, to your point, and enjoy it like you do, so I never forget why it's so special. Fault Z Baseball YT asking, which A's player do you miss the most that got traded? Well, I'm going to take this a step further than recent times. I'm going to go way back to the 2000s, and one of the guys I enjoyed interviewing the most was Nick Swisher. He and I did a regular TV segment on the pregame shows. It was highly acclaimed. It won some awards, and Swish was just such a natural in front of the camera. We needed no preparation or even discussion before we just hit record, went, and he was television gold. And I think it's obvious why he has the national gig with Fox now, because you could always tell that he had that TV DNA in him. But beyond him, I want to go to Stephen Vogt. Man, it's weird. It is so weird watching him this season with the Giants, and I don't root against him at all. That is ridiculous. I'm so happy to see him again in Major League Baseball. He fought through some injury issues, changed teams a couple times. And I also understand that he grew up fascinated with the San Francisco Giants. I get it. Hard for some people that are A's fans watching this video. And it's still weird for me and you to watch him in the Halloween colors. But I wish Stephen Vogt would come back at the end of his playing career. Stephen, if you're watching this and you want to do television, please come to NBC Sports California. Matt Gray asking, new father here, best advice you can give. Well, Matt, it's crazy because I'm already 2 years into this process of having a little guy around, and those 2 years have gone by so fast. So number one, I would say try and slow things down as best you can. I realize that there's that saying, the days are long, but the weeks are short, or the months are short, something to that effect. It really does feel like that. Some days feel like forever and you're tired all the time, but the months and the weeks, and they just go by so fast and time escapes. So I would say make the most out of every day and week that you can. But also this, if you're struggling with the responsibilities of early times with your child, just realize that you're not going to be nearly as productive as you once were at the start. Pick the one thing you want to do for yourself or you need to do for your family that day, and only hold yourself to that one thing per day. Eventually, you're going to get back to doing 2 and 3 and 4 things a day for your family. But at first, try and just knock out one thing a day. I think that's really going to help out. Coliseum foul territory. If you were the commissioner of the NHL and Major League Baseball, what would be the first thing you would change in both sports? I'm glad you asked that, because I made a series of 4 videos talking directly to the NHL, and among the different topics were getting video replay right and review right. Also how the game can eliminate headshots either via tougher suspensions or rule changes. I just feel like player safety is a huge deal right now in the NHL. So I would go hard on player safety and headshots, defining what's legal, what's suspendable, so everybody knows. Yeah, there's also video on goalie interference, but that's a X's and O's type thing. That's more game related as opposed to saving the future lives of players. So to me, I would try and keep everybody a little bit safer out there on the ice. As for baseball, I'd find ways to speed it up. Look, no offense, because I cover the games before and after, and I can appreciate those of you who like having it on in the background, but 3.5-hour games on the regular basis that they're happening now, it might be more than the average American attention span right now. And I need baseball to be digestible for future generations. And I'm not saying we have to cater to any specific audience, but if you're going to play 162, you got to condense a little bit better. So I would definitely do that. I would also say that bat flipping, completely legal. I'm not saying it's illegal right now in terms of the baseball rules, but yeah, I would not discourage bat flipping or any type of personality acts on the diamond so long as they are generally respectful. Let's move on to Fabian Garcia. If you had to pick between the Sharks keeping Pavelski, Warriors keeping KD, or A's making it to the World Series and just getting that chance to win it all this year, but no guarantee they win, which would you pick and why? All right, Fabian, that's a lot. I'm going to try and do this with the process of elimination. I just don't feel like the Sharks, with or without Joe Pavelski, is the difference of them winning a Stanley Cup. And that's all we can really base it on with this team. Are they going to win the Stanley Cup? Those are the highest of aspirations. That's about as high as you can set the bar. But again, one player in a team sport like hockey, where it just comes down to so many big things, I don't know that one guy makes all of the difference. So I'd have to say that one is not important. The Warriors keeping KD, look, they've already won a couple titles. It was pretty clear he wasn't going to stay around, or the future was very uncertain. They're already down Klay Thompson. So I love the Warriors. They were one of my first teams as a kid growing up here in the Bay Area. Unfortunately, I'm crossing them off. I would love to see the A's make it to a World Series again, because to me, that would be a dramatic step forward. And also the A's are at a critical time of their franchise. They need to build this team together and get some momentum together, as they've already started to do, as they hopefully get ready to move into a new baseball stadium. So I think it would mean the most to the Oakland A's to get to a World Series, as opposed to the Sharks if they had kept Pavelski, or the Warriors if they had kept Kevin Durant. All right, 3 more, and I've got a hustle here. Kadoji asking, do you think the Pavelski jersey will be retired in San Jose? I guess that depends on where you're setting the bar, and it's hard to know that right now because no jersey has yet to be retired. If you're looking at longevity and homegrown talent and, yeah, his captaincy, I think Joe Pavelski is definitely on the list of should be considered. Clearly, Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, Owen Nolan, maybe Arturs Urbe, those are all other names that should immediately be considered. So I want to put Pavelski in this category for that. I want to put him in he's on the list, he's not crossed off the list category, if that makes sense. I'm making him eligible for this. There would be some names you could tell me right now, and I would say they are not eligible for that type of honor. For Joe Pavelski, I want to put him on the eligible list, and we'll see what the future brings in terms of, where the Sharks kind of start drawing the blueprint for what a retired number, a jersey number, looks like at SAP Center. I hope we'll see it someday. That would be fun. Good old AJ Strong asking, we all know you to be the consummate professional, but everyone makes mistakes. What are your favorite mistakes you've made on air? AJ, I don't have enough time in this video to list them all. There have been plenty of bloopers, mess-ups. 2 that come to mind instantly, both dealing with Sharks hockey. There was one time I was literally interviewing Scott Gomez between periods, and I forgot Scott Gomez's name while looking right at him. My brain just completely paused. And we're back. We're here at SAP Center with Sharks forward. Yeah. So how did you, Scott Gomez, how did you feel about that second period? Anyway, yeah, that happened. The other one was on a road trip. Can't remember if it was Dallas or Arizona, somewhere in the south or southwest. And we were doing an update on a player we did not think was going to come out for, I believe, the third period. So Randy Hahn tosses down to me. I'm ringside. Yeah, Randy, I don't even know what player it was. Player X is not going to be coming out for the third period. The Sharks say that he's under evaluation. Well, guess what? I'm standing right in front of the player entrance to the ice. Player X, as I'm mentioning him, walks right behind me on his way out to the rink. So yeah, and Randy goes, well, Brody, thanks for that update. I can see him right there behind you, after I just said that it was unlikely he would come out. So lesson to me, always pay attention to your surroundings. Always seek the latest information. All right, last one here from David H. with Pavelski's departure. Who do you think takes the lead in total goals for the Sharks next season? I mean, that is such a great question because there are so many good candidates. You saw Vander Kane get to 30 last year. You saw Timo Meier get to 30 last year. I think both those guys are definitely in the conversation. I'm interested to see how Brent Burns shoots from the point more, and I'm not saying that goals are more plenty from him back there as opposed to guys up front, but whether he's passing more or whether he's shooting more without Joe Pavelski out front. Also can't discount Logan Couture and what he was able to do in the playoffs scoring-wise. So for me, 39, 9, 28 would definitely be the obvious frontrunners. And you know what? I hope there's somebody surprising next year who pots a ton of goals and comes out of nowhere and is an unexpected in this conversation. All right, that does it for the YouTube Q&A. Again, I really appreciate everybody who submitted a question. We got close to 100. Obviously couldn't get to all of them, but next time, don't let that stop you from shooting something else out there because you never know when we can get to it right here on YouTube. Until next time, thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate you watching.